Hello. We are going to go ahead and start Unit 4, Lesson 1. It is called Places in Your Community. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Screen 2. Maybe. All right. So Unit 4, Lesson 2 looks like this. Lesson 1, excuse me. Unit 4, Lesson 1, called Places in Your Community. Okay, lugares en tu comunidad. Looks like this, page 86. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the camera off. There we go. All right, so our goal today, nuestra meta, is to ask for information. Preguntar para información. Okay, so let's look at A. It says, Gloria and her family are new to the community. Read her list of things to do. Where does Gloria need to go for each one? Listen and write the names of the places. Okay, so the list of things that she needs to do, las cosas que tiene que hacer, are right here, numbers 1 through 6. Number 1, find a place for my children to play sports. Number 2, register for an ESL class. Number 3, open a checking account. Number 4, register my car and get a new license. Number 5, mail some packages back home. And number 6, pick up some bus schedules. Okay, so we are going to listen and write down the names of the places. Oh, excuse me. Move this over here. Okay. Here we go. Let's listen.
Gloria is new to the community. First of all, she needs to go to a bank to open a checking account so she can pay her bills. Second, she needs to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to register her car and renew her driver's license. For now, she will need to use public transportation, but she doesn't know where to get a bus schedule. She'll have to ask at the bus station. Also, she'd like to take some ESL classes to improve her English. There's a community college nearby. Maybe she could try there. Her children would like to play sports, so she needs to find a place for them to do that. Perhaps she can call the Department of Parks and Recreation. Finally, her husband needs to mail some packages to his family back home. She has used the local mail store before, but she'd like to find the nearest post office instead.
All right, so that was a very short video, very short audio, and you have all these 6 to answer. So I'm going to play the video 2 more times. So here's number 2.
Gloria is new to the community. First of all, she needs to go to a bank to open a checking account so she can pay her bills. Second, she needs to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to register her car and renew her driver's license. For now, she will need to use public transportation, but she doesn't know where to get a bus schedule. She'll have to ask at the bus station. Also, she'd like to take some ESL classes to improve her English. There's a community college nearby. Maybe she could try there. Her children would like to play sports, so she needs to find a place for them to do that. Perhaps she can call the Department of Parks and Recreation. Finally, her husband needs to mail some packages to his family back home. She has used the local mail store before, but she'd like to find the nearest post office instead.
All right, there's number 2. Let's go ahead and watch it. Listen to it one more time.
Gloria is new to the community. First of all, she needs to go to a bank to open a checking account so she can pay her bills. Second, she needs to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to register her car and renew her driver's license. For now, she will need to use public transportation, but she doesn't know where to get a bus schedule. She'll have to ask at the bus station. Also, she'd like to take some ESL classes to improve her English. There's a community college nearby. Maybe she could try there. Her children would like to play sports, so she needs to find a place for them to do that. Perhaps she can call the Department of Parks and Recreation. Finally, her husband needs to mail some packages to his family back home. She has used the local mail store before, but she'd like to find the nearest post office instead.
All right, so let's look at number 1. Okay, maybe I can read the audio for you so it's not so, yeah, we'll just go with number 1. Okay, find a place for my children to play sports. Where does she need to go for that? The Department of Parks and Recreation. Okay, so parks we know is parque, right? Son parques. Recreation is another word for something fun. Es otra palabra para describir cuando haces algo divertido. Number 2, register for an ESL class. Community college. Number 3, open a checking account. Okay, you can do that at a bank. Number 4, register my car and get a new license. Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, another word for this is called DMV. Number 5, mail some packages back home. Is post office. And number 6, pick up some bus schedules. Bus station. Letter B, it says practice the conversations with a partner. Use the information in exercise A to make new conversations. Okay, I hope you can make you can practice. But I understand that maybe you don't have anyone to practice with. Okay, so let's look at A. It's student A. Where can I get a new driver's license? At the DMV. DMV is abbreviation, abreviación, for Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, so I want you, so you have a list of 6. Una lista de 6 cosas, right? I want you to give me 3 conversations, 3 conversaciones. So, student A, student B, and student B. Okay, so for example, like this one talks about a driver's license. Okay, we can have, where can I open a checking account? Okay, and your answer would be at the bank. Okay, so I want you to write 2 more conversations for B. So instead of practicing verbally, en vez de practicar verbalmente, you are going to write. Los vas a escribir. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear. Okay, so now we have a informations question. ¿Cómo hacer las preguntas? Okay, so when we talk about location, como estamos hablando de locación, okay, we use words like where, donde, how far, qué lejos, or what, qué or cuál. Okay. For example, where is the bank? ¿Dónde está el banco? How far is the school from here? ¿Qué lejos está la escuela de aquí? Desde aquí. What is the address? ¿Cuál es la dirección? Okay, when we're talking about time, okay, when does the library open? What time does the restaurant close? How often do the buses run? How much does it cost? Okay, now we talk about cost. Okay, we use words such as how much does it cost? All right, so let's look at D. It says match the questions you could ask when calling local businesses with the possible answers. For example, number 1, how often do the buses run? Our answers, G, they run every 20 minutes. Corren cada 20 minutos. Okay, now let's look at 2. It says, where's your restaurant? Okay, what will be our answer? Okay, I have F. It's on the corner of 7th and Pine. Three, how much does it cost? Okay, that one's pretty easy, right? Fácil. We have H. It costs $50 to service your computer. Okay, so I want you to do numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to do these by yourself. Now right here, it says practice asking and answering the questions in exercise D with a partner. Otra vez, si pueden practicar con alguien, you can practice with somebody and answer the questions and ask the questions and answer the questions. That's perfect. If not, I understand. Okay. Next one is F. Determine what questions will Gloria need to ask when she calls businesses. Write questions to match the answers below. Okay. So for example, number 1, the answer is the bank opens at 9 o'clock. Okay, so what question can you ask? Okay, the question would be, what time does the bank open? Okay, now let's look at 2. It says, the driver's license cost $25. What would your question be? Okay, your question would be, how much does a driver's license cost? Okay, let's do number 3 together. The library is about a mile from here. What would be your question? Okay, your question would be, how far is the library from here? Okay, again, I want you to practice. Quiero que ustedes practiquen making the sentences. So numbers 4 through 7, you will do. Ustedes van a hacerlos. All right. So let's look at G. It says complete the conversations with a logical question or answer. When you are finished, practice a conversation with a partner. Okay, so let's look at conversation 1. It says, good morning. This is Fort Food Mart. Okay, now we don't know what the question is. And then it says, we are open now. What can be your question right there? Okay, you can have, when do you open? We are open now. Great, thank you. All right, let's look at conversation 2. Thank you for calling the book stop. How can I help you? Okay, our answer is 4635 Broadway. So our question can be, what is your address? Okay, next one is, and when do you close? And you can write anything. You can write 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever time you want to write. Okay, next, on a piece of paper, make your own to-do list like the one Gloria made. And exercise A. Next to each item, write the place where you can go into your community to get the task done. Also, write some questions to ask. Okay, so I want you to write, you're going to write a list like Gloria's, right here. Okay, it does not have to be the same. No tiene que ser idéntico. Okay, it can be similar. Puede ser similar. Okay, and I want a list to do. La cosa que tienes que hacer. Place, lugar, and then questions, preguntas que puedes hacer en ese lugar. Okay, Gloria had 6. I only want you to give me 4. Que me den 4. Okay? Now, that is it for Unit 4, Lesson 1. You do have a homework, looks like this, page 60, 61, and 62. Okay, and then you also had an activity like this. Okay, it says, so information questions. What question do you ask when you do each thing listed below? Okay, so for example, to do is to buy coffee at the grocery store. What kind of question will you ask? How much is the coffee, right? Now, next one to do is to buy eggs at the grocery store. Okay, you can have the same one. How much is, not how much is, how much are the eggs? You can have another sentence. You can have something like, or where are the eggs? Okay, that's an example. Okay, so you're going to finish these. You are not going to do this part. Okay, because you're not in the classroom, so you can't really do that one. Next one, it says, help Kenji make a list of the questions he needs to ask when he calls the following places. Try to think of different questions for each place. Where you are finished, give your paper to another student and have him or her write or answer your questions. Okay, you don't have to do this part, but I do want you to write 3 questions for each place. Remember, DMV is Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, so for example, a question of where, you can say, where is the DMV? Okay, and they can give you an address. All right, so I want examples. Okay, so you have this activity and you have your homework that you need to complete. That is all for Unit 4, Lesson 1. If you have any questions about the lesson, just let me know. Thanks.